from the very beginning, it was this like, this is long haul. If you want to be here for the long haul, I can't pay you much. I can pay you $15 for this Rockwood gig. Right. But if you stick around, I promise everybody's going to eat. And in the beginning, there were a couple of folks who were like, man, I just like want to play jazz at Smalls. Or I'm sorry, I don't have time for this. I need to be getting my bag right now. And so it's always been this mindset of family. Like brothers and sisters don't get to just give up on each other. Not being family is not really an option if we all do want this goal here.
Let's rewind. It's 2020. Everybody is still doing the remote from your apartment shows, blah, 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 blah. I was invited by my friend and bandmate Mark in the band OER. He was like, hey, we're going to go to this big house in Connecticut and do one of these shows where they'll live stream it. We'll 6 feet apart, all this stuff. We all remember. So we get up there. And this one's really interesting because there's a whole like video production situation. And the guy who is running the video is like, hey, I know you're a trumpet player. I'm also a horn player. You know, what's up? I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, what's your name? He's like, oh, my name's Kellen. I was like, so you do this like video stuff? He's like, yeah, but like I play saxophone. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And you're in New York? He's like, yeah. I was like, who do you play with? He's like, I play with this band. It's called Sammy Rae and the Friends. And I was like, huh. I've never heard of that. I was like, what's the vibe? He's like, you know, it's just fun. And I was like, okay. Fast forward to now, I'm on a Delta flight once every other week. And who do I hear every time I sit down? Exactly. You already know the song.
Oh, yeah.
Sammy Rae and the Friends. Like, it is such an honor to be talking to you guys because I've been hearing about you tangentially and crossing paths for many years. And congratulations on just the ascent. Yes. It's been amazing.
Yes. Thank you.
And so I know that you are New Yorkers now, but that was not always the case. What... You know, and this is for each of you, like, what were some things about where y'all were coming from that not just like, oh, where you're from, but like, what were some like key factors about where you were from that made you want to be up on a stage or be up on writing music, you know?
Wow. Well, I grew up in the smallest city in the second or third smallest state in the U.S. Very blue collar, heavily Italian American, small working class town in the All-American Valley, which is a real place in Connecticut. And it's the kind of place where you meet somebody in middle school, you get sweet on them, you date in high school, you maybe go to college, and if not, you get married after high school and then you stay there. And that happened to a lot of my friends, and that happened to my parents. And that's kind of the story. So growing up in that environment where you kind of don't leave where you have been placed, especially for a kid who was so heavily interested in the arts, I think from a very young age, it was like, well, at some point the levee's going to break and I'm going to have to get out of here. And I don't know what that's going to look like. But I knew that something had to give. And I think when I finally got to New York, I was almost, there's a whole song about this called Talk It Up, but I think I had conflated it into this, New York will be my saving grace. It has to be my everything. And when I got here, it was a lot of things that I thought it was and a lot of things that I didn't think it was. But I think the one thing that really small town sort of upbringing has instilled in me is, you know, while you travel the whole world and this thing becomes this big, enormous thing, you've got to make sure that you're good with you at home, right? Like it starts here and you can't forget that there's a person behind everything. And that's kind of been like the guiding light for me is even when we're in front of 7,000 people or I'm on a flight listening to my own music, you know, like it's there's a person behind all of it and you got to stay humble and you got to stay grateful because of number one, what it took to get to where you are. And number two, because, a lot of this is talent and dedication, but a lot of it's luck too. You know, you're in the right place at the right time. So
like humility, authenticity, fun, joy. I hear all of those things on the last record, Something for Everybody, but also the brand new record, which is all covers, which I love the title of it, Songs We Wish We Wrote. That's so good.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Thanks.
it's so good. It's so authentic. And you can get a lot of flack for doing covers, or a lot of people are anxious to do covers. Y'all swung for the fences. We're talking, you know, we're talking big songs like Paul McCartney. We're talking Toto. We're talking like epic arena anthems done Sammy Rae style. Talk about how you picked the songs, and also just like how you feel about, you know, doing an album of covers.
Sure. So how we've always picked the covers is pretty strategic. I grew up on like classic rock and dad rock and hard rock and even some like 80s metal, and I really love that stuff. But this thing happened when the band was growing and we started to be able to play larger venues. A lot of them were all ages. So we realized we have this younger crowd that really loves us, and they're like 13, 14, 15, but they come with their parents, right? So when we start playing the all ages venues and the younger ones start to come, the parents start to come. And I grew up on like your dad's prom songs. That's what I really love, because especially the 70s was a golden era for big bands working together. The Stones and the E Street Band and the Allman Brothers and the Doobies. And these are bands that really caught my attention when I never wanted to just do this thing solo. I always wanted to be a band leader. So as we started to see this older generation, and originally it was just kind of college age folks and folks around our age, and then the younger generation started coming in, so the older generation started to come with them. So we made this really intentional choice to only cover songs that came out before 1980, because it creates this cool bridge and is like a nice thank you to this older generation, where now the younger ones are going, oh my God, my favorite band covered this song, and the older generation is going, oh, that was my high school anthem. And it creates this, it's a cool nod and a thank you for the older generation coming out and bringing the younger generation. It creates a cool intergenerational bridge. And what we see now is that it's worked. And this older generation is coming alone. And I love looking out at a friends crowd, because the goal was always, and there's like, we get messages that are like, my kindergarten class loves whatever we feel and saw it coming. So we got little teeny tiny ones. And then we've got these like teenagers. We've got college age people in their 30s. Then we've got the folks that are bringing the teenagers. And then every now and then I look out and there's a gaggle of like 4 or 5 like 50 to 60-year-old women who are having like mom's night out, and they're vibing because we cover Toto and the Doobie Brothers and Fleetwood Mac and all this stuff. So it's always been an intentional choice to try to do, because respectfully, everybody on TikTok is doing the Harry Styles that's big right now, and the Taylor Swift that's big right now, and that's great. That's wonderful. But as a band who loves band history and band lore and the idea of people coming together and growing old together, making something with a common vision, they just don't make bands like that anymore. So it's always been a choice to keep it kind of to that era, and you'll see that on this record with the exception of 1 or 2. Everything's before 1978.
Yeah. Wow.
So, but is that because also songwriting was just different then as well?
That too.
And I think a lot of people might be just starved to actually hear well-written songs that aren't involved with loops.
You had to, because you had to. Yes, the
You
thing
know what
that
I'm saying?
we love to do, which is 7 people, 7 different musical minds from 7 different studies of music and corners of the world and production minds and all that, coming together in one place and making something together. It doesn't happen as much anymore because there are so many more cost efficient, more time efficient, more travel efficient ways to send tracks, and everything's digital. That's not a bad thing. It's a modern era, and that's great. But the thing that we love to do was the only thing you could do back then. And so it's nice to pull to that. We track everything live, you know, and it's cool to not just this is how they used to do it, but like we get to do that. We have, if I may, we're talented enough that you can press record and we can all go live and we're all listening to each other and playing off one another. We're in the studio, everybody's set up, we have a sight line to each other, and we go.
Yeah.
And that's how you had to do it. So it's nice to have the chops to be able to do that.
Yeah, but you guys are musicians.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Right. Cats.
No, I'm being honest.
Cats.
That means
Cats,
no,
man.
these are cats.
Cats.
No,
Cats.
Yep.
The cats.
You dig? You dig? You dig?
Cats.
The
Sorry.
cats,
man.
The cats.
Yeah.
You people are musicians.
Right.
No, but I'm saying, look. I think that I enjoy listening to the conversation because I have to teach a different generation of people who don't understand the concept of human interaction and how that me relying on John's idea and it really inspired my next start.
Right.
From jazz backgrounds. Oh man, the inspiration from people in the room kind of, probably that's embedded in these covers as well.
Yeah.
Definitely.
From the cats, what is
let's go.
this question is
Whatever,
directed
man.
to the
From the
cats.
cats.
So we want to hear from the cats.
Okay.
Yup. What is your favorite part about working with Sammy in the studio as artist, as producer? Like, what is your favorite part about being in this band with her and making these records?
Get in there.
Come on, cats.
All right. I'm about to get in there because I can get in there. I think one of the best parts. Okay, because as cats,
I'm
right?
blushing now.
As cats, I think we
Golly,
know
man.
how it is to work with a bunch of different artists, right? And we work in a lot of projects that kind of look very similarly, but this one is just so unique. And I think about it this way. When I first moved to New York City, I was playing with a lot of different artists. There's always like members changing. And I remember it was like it was more about like making good music happen. And like we would play a really amazing things with a lot of these projects. And I still do. But the thing that was so unique with Sam and working with Sam was like Sam was so adamant about and very like much prioritized, like I want all of us to get along in the room, and it like you had to be killing, but like the most important thing was also like you had to be a good person. And it still translates to today, like the fact that we are working together in a studio. I was talking to other bands, other cats. That they're like, wait, you mean to tell me that y'all go to the studio at the same time and y'all like are tracking at the same time? I'm like, yeah. You mean to tell me that like y'all are on the click at the same time? I'm like, yes, we're on the click at the same time. And they're like, so you're not playing like one at a time. You're all playing at the same time. I'm like, yes, it's
kids these days don't know about this.
It's crazy. It's crazy to really see how that is. That's a surprise. But like Sam has been. Again, this is like just an ode to like how like you're so strategic and how you're so like you had a vision from the jump and then you just went with it, and it's still translating today and it just developing more in terms of like friendship is what's going to make this music the way that it is. And you're talking about joy and fun, like that's it, we're just having the time of our lives in the studio, in the rehearsal room, at your crib, and so like that to me is what it feels like to play for Sam, as a cat that plays with other people too. Like this is the one unique thing that I get with Sam that I don't see with other artists that I personally play with right now.
That's really nice.
Yeah, I think just totally agree with all that. And I think we're 7 unique artists in our own right.
Yes.
And I think the amazing thing is that we find a place to come together as one. Like if you think of like a Venn diagram and we're like
7 circles.
Right. Yeah.
Like we all come from different backgrounds and tastes and everything, but it's a miracle that we find this common center. And I think Sam's superpower lies within like guiding us to that center, because we all have our own ideas, but we somehow manage to find harmony with all that. And this like space where we all listen to each other and collaborate with each other and we're not stepping on each other. And
Definitely.
I think that is where the magic lies with this project.
Just to put a pin in all this, what you were saying about like you got to be a good person and like each other and we're going to make good music. From the very beginning, it was this like, this is long haul. If you want to be here for the long haul, I can't pay you much. I can pay you $15 for this Rockwood gig. Right. But if you stick around, I promise everybody's going to eat. And in the beginning, there were a couple of folks who were like, man, I just like want to play jazz at Smalls. Or I'm sorry, I don't have time for this. I need to be getting my bag right now. But the idea was always long haul, longevity, legacy act. And so it's always been this mindset of family. Like brothers and sisters don't get to just give up on each other. They have to, even the hard communication and the sit down and we need to have a talk and how can I adjust so that we can all, better understand each other. We don't have a choice. We have to figure out how to cohabitate and get along. We have to do that hard work because we're family. Not being family is not really an option if we all do want this goal here. Yes, here we go. Thanks, guys.
I'm about to tell a story that I haven't yet, about the most intelligent woman that I ever met. She looked like Jackie Onassis, top of her classes. I'm doing my best, just passing by. I'm so funny in my body, I can barely walk. I'm so full of them funny feelings, I could barely talk. And here comes Jackie Onassis. I don't need to ask it. Have you ever seen a woman so fine? She said, come on out, just a couple hours. We gonna have a real good time. And I'll tell her, where you going, when are you coming home? And somebody in the front seat calls out, everyone quit wasting my time. We gotta hit the road and hit the road and hit the road. There they go, and I was on my own. Yeah. I ain't never spoke my mind up in a crowded place. I ain't got no cool demeanor and smooth talking ways, cause I ain't like Jackie Onassis. Girls in sunglasses are looking me up like I'm part of some game. And then the altercation happened around the 10th of May. Some little poorly dressed spectator had something unkind to say. It comes back to me in flashes. I get risky. There's a swing and a miss, and I'm all ashamed. Ooh, I was so ashamed when she found me out in pieces, crying hard into my head. And she tell me, mama, you look lovely when you take a stand. And I tell her, no one's ever been so kind to me, and I thank you for that. She said, here you go, and here you go, and here you go. I took her hair out of bow, laid that ribbon in my head. And look at that lady, she carries herself right, singing, oh, 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 yeah. She's the first lady. And when she walked me through the night, singing, oh, oh, and I got sunny days on the track field, laughing hard, just me and mine. I got a great part in a spring play after all. Yes, I did. Got my rose pink tinted glasses and they fit me just fine. I let it go and let it go and let it go. Here we go. Look at that lady. Oh, she carries herself right, singing, oh, 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 yeah. She's a first lady. And she walked me through the me through the night.
Building an NBA roster, man.
Dude, yeah.
Well, we
Making sure
all
the locker room, the
yeah,
GM.
come on.
This is right.
Yeah.
Sammy the GM.
Yeah,
Literally.
well,
Truly.
we all
The
picked-
Jerry West of
Yeah.
It's like fantasy league draft, man.
right.
It's like, yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm from Connecticut, so I'm the Dan Hurley.
Hey, wow.
Hurley mentioned.
She said,
Hurley
we're
mentioned.
gonna win.
Hurley mentioned.
Don't matter how we're gonna get there. Dan, where you at, bro?
Well,
He's a special guy.
he
too,
is a
man.
weird guy, man.
Special guy.
So
Listen,
funny.
off of what Will had to say, we all, and what C-Bass had to say, we all chose each other, right? And we all continue to choose each other. If I could play drums, I will play drums, but I can't. I chose C-Bass because of the person he is, and at this point, we've grown up together and we love each other. So if C-Bass comes in and he's like, I'm really into cumbia rhythms right now, C-Bass, whether or not he wants to, if that's what you're hip to at the moment, he's going to be slipping that cumbia into everything that we're doing.
Yeah.
And that's the drummer. So I guess we're making a cumbia because that's where he is right
that's how
now.
we got
Right.
go-go on everything now.
Yeah, exactly.
Go-Go.
Or, you know,
Go-go on
if,
everything.
you know, if like there's something else goes, somebody's, I'm really hip to this. I remember at some point, Debbie is our keys player, and she came in and she was like, I was playing this gig and I was playing somebody else's song. It was a cover. And she's like, and I found this chord reimagination in the bridge and I love it. And she's like, this chord voicing is really hip to me right now. And now suddenly we're all thinking about the song through that different voicing. And as time goes on, we're learning with and from each other. And there's always, oh my God, I can't get enough of this record. And then we're all listening to the record and then it's all influencing us. So just because C-Bass brought it in, it becomes something that we're all a part of. And over time, it's a very democratic sort of collaboration. There's like a lot of straight up voting. We do a lot of option A, option B, audition them both, raise your hand. But we've passed this point that I think a lot of bands get stuck in or ends up being their demise, which is, this is my idea. I think it's best, and I really want to do it. At this point, we're at this place of, it's not what I want and what's best for me to let my talent shine. It's, what is a decision we're going to make that's going to let all 7 of us shine? Because that's that friends.
Wow.
That's
that
what's the
friends.
most authentic thing that we can do. So, you know, like if somebody's like, hey, what do you think about this part? I really like this part. If it doesn't leave room for everybody else to be their best selves, or if it's so far out to the jazz realm that the cats that don't come from jazz can't access it, or if it's so worldy that everybody else can't get it, or if it's so country or so hard rock that everybody else can't really rise to the occasion, it's not the best choice, because it has to be what's going to elevate all of us at the same time. And after so many years of producing and arranging and collaborating together, there's just this unspoken thing now where it can be like, so I'm going to play this, and Kellen, you do that thing with the triangle. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. Okay, great. And then that makes room for you to do the bass line thing. And if this is your bass line, because you know how much you love X sort of bass line, Will's going to adjust his chord to make that make sense. And kind of all boats rise at the same time.
You know, I was going to ask, you know, that's probably the great thing about doing interviews, if you just let people talk and shut up before you ask the question. No, I mean, because it's crazy how you hit the question that I was going to ask. Because, you know, hey, we vote on everything and it's democratic and that's cool. I was trying to figure out when the shit is not happening. You know, how do we shelve this idea and everybody's, well, wait, you know what? Maybe that should be the question. How does everybody just deal with the fact that, okay, this is not the best idea, and then they just move on? I mean, how do you guys work through that?
Well, as somebody who gives a lot of ideas,
She's like, I'm an idea guy.
I'm so glad you're talking.
James is our music director as well.
You
So
know,
this is our MD talking.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I'm ready for him
When
to
it's-
answer.
when
I
it's-
want to
Me
hear
too,
his
me too.
answer.
when it's a brainstorm, sometimes it's a big storm, you know. When this brainstorm's hit, and there's a lot coming in.
Okay.
No, but I mean, the thing that we do about it that I think is really cool is like, there's kind of an understanding that everybody will have ideas, and there's always we see like rehearsals or these arrangement sessions as like arenas where we can like bring these ideas in and try these ideas out. And we always make it a point that if somebody brings an idea in, we're going to try the best that we can to execute it as close to that person's dream as possible.
Exactly.
If it's like, hey, I have this idea where it's like maybe you'll have this riff that's going to come down from here, and we'll have this harmony that's going to go over here, and it's like it's a really abstract, crazy idea. It's like there's no way double diminished chords, and it's like people be pulling in all sorts of crazy stuff.
Right.
We want to execute it as best as we can.
Yeah.
Even if it means a double diminished all the way.
Yeah.
You know, we want to execute it as best as we can. Maybe A-B it against another option, or A-B-C-D it against all the other options that may be out there. And then just everybody have an opportunity to, we've heard it all out. We're going to vote. Sometimes, believe it or not, 7 people, there might be a tie. Sam kind of gets 2 votes, you know, at these
When
times.
necessary. But he's right. Sometimes if there's 3 different ideas going around and let's say, you know, Will's got an idea. It's never just like, well, I can't really, you know, I don't really think so, or I can't really get it. Everybody has to get up to speed with that idea.
Mm-hmm.
We need to all play it and all hear that idea fully realized before we can make a decision. We have to actually try it. So we'll stop and be like, well, I don't really understand what you're saying. So can you explain it to me? How are you playing this chord? What are you envisioning? And then we'll all make sure we've got it. And then we'll all play it. And then we'll try the other thing. But everybody's idea has got to get a full, which is why it takes... Is that my camera? I'm addressing our audience. That's why it takes so darn long for us to make you music, because we're 7. We've all got different ideas, and we hear all of them.
Well, that's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. That's Okay, listen. That's that friends.
That's that friends.
That's that adjective. That's all there is
that
to it.
friends,
That's that
y'all.
friends. That's that friends.
Okay, so we've heard from the Cats,
I'm dead.
who
Done.
so beautifully encompassed their fearless leader.
Yes. Truly.
And I will say this, listening to like some of the older EPs y'all have done, listening to the newer music, there's this through line of fun and joy, but more specifically, there's this through line of your incredible voice. And when I say that, I'm not just saying like, yeah, you're a great singer. The way, how unique the things that you do with your voice when you're singing, there are these almost like I was writing notes and I was like, it's almost like I'm hearing a magic trick sometimes. Like there are times where you get into a vibrato that is like so fast, or there are times where you will like slot notes in runs, but it's like, those notes aren't a part of a run. It's just like, oh, this is the melody to the song. It's very specific, but you're articulating everything very clearly. And it's like, if there's an adjective that is like, oh, that's the friends. When I hear you sing, it's like, oh, that's the Sammy. And no. And y'all know, and so, you know, for me, a question that I have is like, when did you know that you really wanted to deal with singing and like really create this voice, not just as be a great singer, but like create this unique, incredible thing that would eventually like serve as the centerpiece for this incredible project in music?
Something has to hold it together.
I can tell you.
Something got to hold it together.
We just did the acapella tracks.
There you go.
I'll tell you the exact moment. So, again, when I was young and there was all this like hair metal and stuff. So take hair metal, take that analogy, and then I want to fast forward to when I was in honors chamber choir in high school. And I had a choir teacher who gave me the most incredible advice where he said, we don't sing words, we sing sounds that sound like words.
Oof.
Right?
Oof.
That part. So we could just say, you know, hey, or you could say hey, but it's way up here and it's tinny, it's vibrato. And so you could deliver it with that hair metal sort of sensibility. You could deliver it with this growl, or it's whispered, or just changing the volume, changing the shape of your mouth. And all that theory is wonderful, and it's important to learn safe singing and safe theory and all that. But when I was 17, I don't know why it took me so long, but I discovered Ella Fitzgerald. And this moment was unlocked for me, like this veil was lifted where I was like, the human voice is an instrument. It's not just me getting my words across and me just singing whatever's happening. It's an instrument. And I can take one note and I can change the shape of my mouth or the shape of my sinuses or the vowel, and I can deliver with one note, one pitch, 30 different emotions with that. And so there are no limits. There is no ceiling. I can do anything, and I'm incredible because I understand that if a guitarist doesn't just want to hear a clean tone, he's going to plug in, he's going to use a pedal, and he's going to change the sound of that one note, right? Pedals make any sound as possible. It's just one note, but it could be pedals, or you mute the trumpet or you unmute the trumpet. And it just became this journey that I'm still on. And this is what's so exciting about the covers record. We do a version of Don't Worry Baby by the Beach Boys, which is delivered with this very pure sort of, the Brian Wilson's gorgeous sort of like bell tone of a voice. But we wanted to imagine it as sort of like an angsty, emo sort of punk teenager dealing with anxiety and dealing with the like tension of the world. Yeah. And so I got this opportunity to try to listen to that sort of music, that punk, grungy sort of emo music, and I got to deliver that song in that way. And it's not a hard challenge. I just think and go, oh, well, what are they doing with the A sound? That's different than what Ella Fitzgerald would do. That's different than what Taylor Swift would do. That's different than what Frank Sinatra would do. And let me just make the A sound that way. Let me just make the O sound that way. Right. Yeah. So there's an unlimitedness to the human voice, which I think is so exciting as an instrument, because all the pedals, all the mutes and the unmutes, all of the bowing techniques, it's all here. Right. You just pick how that sound is going to sound. You pick how that word, that sound that sounds like a word is going to sound, and then you just do it. And there's a sort of like, but it was as soon as I heard Ella singing that I was like, oh, she sounds like one of the saxophones. She sounds like an instrument. Right. And that changed everything for me. It changed the perspective of I can do whatever I want with this instrument. It also changed when I'm done with my instrument, I put it in its case. Right. From then on, there's certain things I won't do on the road. I won't go to bars because there's no reason for me to yell. Life is too short for me to yell, okay? Certain things like that. When you're done with your instrument, you put it in its voice. You have to take care of it. You have to be paying attention to it. You need to clean it up when you need to, So it's important to study vocal theory and anatomy. It's important to know what's going on, but there comes to a point, I think, where if it doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. Stop doing it. Don't do anything that feels unsafe. But other than that, the world is your oyster, Yeah.
Taking care of your instrument.
I mean, that's universal.
Yeah, totally.
Learning your instrument.
Yeah.
Right. Also, seeing the voice as an instrument is really special.
Yes, and it's great to hear that. Yeah. And I almost want to say, man, we take what was just said and play that for vocalists in the future, man.
Oh yeah.
You have to deal with the craft of how you're going to create sound.
The approach of what you said that your teacher said, sounds that sound like words.
Yeah.
Where it's almost like, the lyric is important, the songwriting is important, but just as important is like literally like, what does that sound like?
Yeah.
Because you can change the timbre of a verse.
Anything.
Right.
Gotta have a concept.
Yeah.
Right. Gotta have a concept, man. I think one of the things in music that when you go into something, good music is gonna be good energy from the people in the room.
Right.
But it's also, man, do the people in the room have a concept of what they're doing?
Truly.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, to hear you say that is like, because I had a teacher, man, back in New Orleans, that says, look, you got to, Clyde Kerr, great guy. You guys have a concept?
Right.
And at 15 and 16, you don't really realize you're kind of
playing notes.
Because we're just trying to figure out shit,
Right. Get the licks in.
Oh shit, G7. All right, okay. Can I make this 2-5-1? No. but when somebody says get a concept, it's exactly what you said. You have to know the instrument.
Yeah.
You're going to have command of the instrument. You're going to have some kind of approach to which will actually allow you to be you. And that's part of freaking concept.
Yeah. I remember, to give an example, recently, I think in the last couple of years, when I'm bringing in an original, here's a story I'm trying to tell. It used to be, and this is what I'm thinking for the groove, and then I would sing a little voice memo of the horn line I was looking for. But now in rehearsal, I'll be like, this is the verse, and I'll tell everybody the lyrics.
Yeah.
Because it didn't dawn on me for a couple years, and this is not a bad thing. I don't think of theory the way you think of theory, but you guys are not thinking of the heart of the song the way I am as a lyricist. So you need to hear you need to hear the lyrics, right?
Yeah.
And so when we were doing you know, again, to use the same example of Don't Worry Baby, that arrangement came as one of the last ones on the record because it was kind of like, how are we going to give this? And I remember we were like, me and Will on guitar, Debbie on vocals and keys, and C-Bass was there, and we were all trying to figure out what it was, but it wasn't until like the lights were low and it was like late at night and we're all sitting on the floor, and I was like, here's what he's saying. I don't know why, but I keep thinking something's about to go wrong. Right? Or, you know, it's been building up inside of me for, I don't even know how long. And until you like think about, I'm not just trying to deliver that. I'm trying to really make everybody feel that. And then suddenly it's like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. The concept has to be at the core. Otherwise, like you said, and this is something else the audience can hear, the lyricist is just singing and everybody is just making music underneath, and they're not working together to support one another.
Right.
You know?
It's like Inception. It's like you're not just trying to sing a song that people are like, okay, that's cool. You're trying to take an idea and plant it inside of them to where it's almost like they feel the thing that Brian Wilson was feeling.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is to actually get to the thing.
Yeah, but here's for the purists. But you signed up to listen to our version.
Yes.
So you're going to hear the words that Brian wrote and what he meant as interpreted by my experience.
Yes.
Because I'm not like a 27-year-old man in the 70s in California.
Exactly.
I'm a 30-year-old queer woman on the East Coast in 2025.
Right.
So you signed up to hear my interpretation of those words
and
how my band, again, the people that we chose, the musicians who chose each other, rise to help deliver that message. I also feel this way with a live performance when we try to we do this to our own music, where we'll put out a record and then we're like, how do we change it live? What extra how are we going from one song to the next? Can we add a solo section? If you wanted to hear the record, you could stay at home and listen to the record.
100%.
Right. You know?
100%. And it's a beautiful thing too, because like the whole point of covering a song is because you love it. And so regardless of whether a purist is like, I only listen to the original, or even like the original artist is like, that's fine. It's in doing the cover, you are honoring your influences. And a lot of times, especially with you in a band like you, I'm sure the artists and the musicians that were part of the originals are going to hear it and be like, wow, I'm honored. And that was really good.
Yeah.
You know? But it's an homage in and of itself.
Totally. Yeah. And we get these comments of like, I never really heard the lyrics before your version because maybe you couldn't access, you know, at that time when you first heard, you know, I don't know, Toto's version of whatever or Genesis's version of whatever. You couldn't access it because it was playing on the radio and it's such a popular song, it just becomes monotonous. But it took our delivery for you to understand what was really being said. I don't know. Here's hoping.
You know, I want to mention because you had mentioned this yesterday too. Was sometimes you had suggested a song or somebody in the band had suggested a song to cover, and some people in the band may have not ever heard this song before. And you know, we always try to honor and respect that because like we have the people who are really passionately, I love this song, I want us to do this song. Some people who had never heard it. And the way that we come to what makes our own sound is like we try to respect both. It's like somebody who loves and you know, has grown up with this song. We want that person to be happy, and we also want the person who has never heard this and has their own ideas and their own interpretation of how these songs can be, the lyrics, the phrasing, the arrangement of these songs can be. So we really try to come at it from both of those sides, where it's like, you know, something that can be there for both sides of that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So on the tip of covers and songs that we wish we wrote, as well as you being a prolific songwriter and y'all talking about, you know, we're going to be a legacy band. Let's talk 20, 30 years down the line. You guys are, you know, on the bus doing arenas, whatever it is. And you're looking at the young artists who are now covering your songs,
Mm.
what are the songs that if you're sitting there on the bus and you see this, you know, whatever it's going to be, TikTok 5,000 at that point,
Oh my God.
of an artist covering, like, what is the song that you wrote that would hit the hardest if somebody else wished that they wrote it?
That's
Oh,
so let's go.
Okay,
that's nice.
what is the song that would hit the hardest?
We
I
ask
don't
the real
know.
questions on
Going
this.
deep. Well, I mean,
That's
I would think that it's come down to, I mean, we have artists and particularly the artists that are coming up now, they'll do covers of our stuff and so happy about it. We get videos, people, particularly college-age kids,
All the time. Yeah.
recitals. It's wonderful. I mean, I went to the University of Miami and like 2 years ago, I had a teacher there who was like, hey, this kid wants to do this cover. And, you know, I see your name's listed on the track.
Wow.
What is going on? So
Yeah.
it's already happening in some ways. Now, the kids who are doing it in this way, they're very much emulating a lot of the styles and stylistic choices that we've done.
Right.
So to your question, I mean, it's like, who would do this thing? I want it to be an artist that we would never expect in a million years to cover something like what we do.
Yeah.
And that's something that can happen now. I mean, there's an album out there. It's covers of Grateful Dead songs called Day of the Dead. And each song is like a different artist, and it's everything from like all these like killer like West African groups that are covering stuff. There's and like you'd never hear the Grateful Dead done this way.
Right.
And so like I would love it if it was something along those lines where it's like, you know, pulling from, you know, if it's like, you know, Tejano band covering our stuff would be enormous. You know, or if it's like, you know, I mean, just the sky's the limit. But I love if people were, if that would really make our head spin would be if it was like a different, their own take on it.
Yeah.
We want people to do our stuff in their own way.
I remember we kept doing it when we were tracking David. We would always put it in a salsa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then he would say instead of David, he would say David.
David.
And so we're thinking about it in Spanish.
Wow.
But you brought up something interesting that I think plays to your question too, which is another intentional part of our arranging. And James is always like a warrior for this. Is we got to make sure that our listeners can play it if they want to.
Right.
And that doesn't mean accessible. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean like keep it for learners. And I hate to bring it back, but a terminology that we quite often use when rehearsing something and realizing, like, we'll be like, is this what's best for the song or is that just for the cats? Like, we say that all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Just
for the
because
cats?
we can play it this way and it's like, oh, and if we phrase it this way, oh, that's so sick. But it might go over the head of the like median listener and therefore exclude them a little bit.
Or someone who can pick up a guitar, play a few chords on the piano, and wants to sing along. You know, wants to do their
It's gonna
thing.
be accessible.
I will
to
tell you,
everybody.
we do have one song that has a double diminished chord on it.
What is
And I don't know.
Oh, you're not
You have to
gonna tell
find
me.
it out. You
You
have
have
to
to transcribe to
You have
find
to
out.
find it out.
You have to transcribe to find
out. Yeah.
Oh, when I first met you.
Oh yeah,
Talked about
he was big on double diminished.
Yep.
I was a kid that was coming out of the church that did not know all of his key signatures. And he was like, "You got to learn this double diminished." But the thing is, and I feel like you all members of the band, it's like I could hear something and I could like, okay, I understand what that is. And he was one that taught me like, this is what you're hearing.
Yes.
But what the beautiful thing is, and in what sounds like, you know, from this conversation, I'm learning about your process is that you're less. It doesn't matter how everybody is understanding it, but what is important is that everybody is understanding what is happening and trying to get to a goal. Whether for you it's like, oh, it's like the da-da-da-da-da thing, and for you it's like, oh, it's like the sharp 9 thing. That's less relevant than everybody figuring out how to be on the same page.
But you know, when you think about it, it's you need
He really
group
said
of
that.
people on the same wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing close to the same thing,
Right.
being able to feel different ways and respect people's space. Because the bandstand is that. The bandstand is that. I respect your space on that stage. Love the cat playing drums.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
can feel bad. You know what? I can't wait to play with this bass player tonight.
Right.
Ooh, you know,
Yeah,
it's that kind of thing.
yeah.
So if
Yep.
you got that, and then you got people with true musical understanding who know how to get to it, I think that you can get these great moments to where, man, I just love love the way you play that, on drums. That's so dope, man. We should write around that, but we can give the vibe to actually augment that.
Right.
They were talking about go-go earlier, man. I mean, oh man, that makes you feel a certain way.
Right.
It's like you go to New Orleans, hear a second line.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, you say, oh,
Yeah.
So to be around a group of people who can collectively get to that thing and hear it, and we kind of know what that is. I mean, I would be happy just to walk in a room and say, "Hey, man, what we writing today?" Well, you're like, can't wait to play with you.
Totally.
Can't wait to play with you, man.
And it's understanding that at some point, like what I said, like I don't play drums, C-Bass plays drums. At some point, my expertise in this field is going to expire, and I'm going to have to ask somebody else for it, right? And again, it's the 7 of us. It's always the same. So if there's if I have a question of like, these are the lyrics that I really want, but I'm trying to convey it a certain way, and I need your help with the vibe. I need to fix the vibe. I need to translate the vibe. I'll probably take it to Will, who is a keeper of the vibes and also another songwriter, right? And if I'm going, I need it to dance, and this is what I'm thinking, but I don't really know how to describe what I'm looking for. I need this sort of thing. C-Bass is obviously going to, well, here's this groove, let's try this thing. And if I'm going, okay, well, I need like the melody to be really grounded and rooted, but I'm trying to go for this thing, I know that that's your area of expertise. I know that's your area of expertise. I know that's your area of expertise. If, I want a really cool double horn line, I can have one, but I can't figure it out unless the other 2 horns are there singing with me and we're acting as, an instrument section together. Like there comes a point where my ideas or my language or my ability to articulate my ideas is going to expire, and somebody else is going to have to come fill in the gaps. And that happens with all of us, And
then just to add on a lot of this, like whenever we're rehearsing or whenever we're writing a record, it's really cool, like on this topic of like relatability and like accessibility, to have 7 of us all have a say on how the music is going to develop, has literally 7 ears before it gets to production. On a song, on every single song, 7 ears, 7 ideas, all there. So it instead of just one person just leading the whole entire thing and missing some moments, because every person has their own life experience, every person has their own musical experience, and you allow all of that to funnel through in every single song. Goated.
A lot of bands ain't like that.
Goated.
Exactly. Goated.
A lot of bands ain't like that, bro.
Yes, they really are.
That's
They really aren't.
If you're listening to this, if you are watching this, this is an example of how to be a band.
Yes.
100%.
No,
musically,
absolutely.
conceptually, the way you all treat each other. And it is not a surprise that the Ascent is what it is because of the way you know it.
We can start there again.
The way
that makes sense.
The way you treat the music and the way that you treat each other. And so before we go, and I have to do this for Jacob, who is a fellow producer on this show. We don't like to ask normal questions. Oh, what do you guys think of each other? How'd you meet? Blah, 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 blah.
Let's go.
All right.
Oh, jeez, Louise. Not on
Sammy Rae and the Friends is on the nth season of the show Survivor.
Yes.
Okay.
Who's winning? Who's getting voted off first? And who is the one that goes viral and has a whole career because of how much drama they stirred up on the show?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
And it doesn't have to be limited to this 4. Y'all can call out the rest of the
We
friends.
could do it right
We
here.
actually-
I think we could do it right here.
Agreement.
We also play this game on the road too.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah, like
Specifically.
if we end up in like a Lord of the Flies situation where we're all like crashed out on an island, who would become like the demigod?
Yes, exactly.
Like
Who's winning?
who wins?
I think are we in agreement that Max has a lot of skills and tolerability for a lot of different crazy things, like natural things, but
survival
also
skills.
Will is an Eagle Scout.
That's that outdoor. That's that starting a fire.
You gotta remember though, Survivor. It's not necessarily the person who is the strongest or the smartest on the social game.
Remember when you were
that person
asking
gets
about who
voted
would
off
stir it
first.
up?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so definitively,
That's
Jake,
what I'm saying. Max would probably get voted off first. I would vote Max off first.
Really?
I would vote Max off first in a second.
Aspect.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes,
It's a social.
who would win?
It's a
Who would
social
vote off
game.
first? Who
Max
would be
is
the
voted off
craziest?
first.
It's a social game.
It's a
I
social
think
game.
I think that Will would win. Number one, because of his survival, like he possesses the survival knowledge.
He's
but
in the cut. You would
Also,
never see him coming.
also, when we play, he's a sleeper. When we play like band games, when we play like card games together and stuff, every time we're playing a game with like multiplayers, Will forfeit his effort for himself to win.
Oh.
And he'll spend the whole game stacking up so everybody else loses.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
like
man.
he'll just
It's
terrible.
It's terrible.
So, like,
But then you
terrible,
turn
bro.
around when you're trying to suddenly solve all the problems and
Right.
you realize secretly
Pandemonium.
that he's won.
I mean, that's literally what it takes.
That's what it takes. That's what it takes.
So for
That's what it
Survivor,
takes.
I think you would win. I
Will
think
wins.
you would probably go viral online just because he's such a lovable, I mean,
Okay.
he's just like, you're so good with the socials. I think you would go viral for that.
So C-Bass is viral.
I think
Okay.
that
I like
Kellen
that.
Kellen would have his own show though. Kellen would work out a deal with the network
got
that he would
you.
have his own
He might have
show.
the drama
You
too.
know Kellen.
Yeah,
Of course.
Like Kellen.
Okay,
He
so
does like drama.
Kellen has approached mid-season
Exactly.
and offered a deal.
Yeah, he's taking that flight. He's on that flight. He's out.
I think Kellen and I like are on the opposite sides of the spectrum of why we would become viral.
Mm.
You
Exactly.
know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
maybe I'm making like inspirational, like motivational, like speeches. Something happened in the show with Kellen, you know, because he loves the drama.
Kellen
He
loves the
drama.
tea.
He
Oh
loves
my
it.
god.
He loves it. He loves it. He loves
The
it.
boy loves
And
the
we
tea,
love him.
man.
And we love him. We love him.
Well,
so-
you're right though. Kellen would leave with like his own brand of like energy drink.
Right, exactly. Somehow, some way.
Yeah, somehow.
Banana leaf.
Yeah.
I think Max is voted off first. I would say Max.
Max
is
is voted off
Because
first.
he's
Yeah,
a threat.
definitely.
And
Max
and
is the biggest threat in
he's
the
the threat
team.
and
To safety.
and like sometimes he's scary. Like he loves to climb things. He's like a rock climber, but and also he's
Oh
he's
my
spent the
God.
last
He would just
3
die.
years building a
Oh my
pipe
God.
organ from scratch.
Yeah,
So he's
Max
incredibly
is,
like technically smart.
Right.
I feel like Max would
Mechanical,
like
yeah.
he could like maybe like find a shell and kill us all when we were asleep or something.
That's why Max has to be voted off.
He's
That's why he
gotta
would be
go.
gone.
Max
Oh, yeah.
gotta go first.
First
yeah.
one.
Unanimously, he's out.
Yeah.
I think actually also I will say Debbie is probably a strong contender to win. I will say though
Think so?
as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Debbie can play that social game. You
That's
don't even
true.
know it. She's
Yeah.
in the cut.
Wow.
Yeah.
The
She
sleeper.
really can.
Yeah.
She'd be
She
big
really
on
can.
those like immunity passes where like
Oh,
you
she
know
would
what I'm talking about?
find those little things. You know, have you seen Survivor?
I haven't.
So
Actually.
they're like having like a meal.
C-Bass, I'm with you, dude. I'm like, this.
I thought it was just about
It's
like
not the
surviving in the
strongest
wild.
or the
Right,
smartest.
right,
Nope.
right, right.
Oh,
It
it's-
is, but it's like
a
a social
dynamic
game.
team game.
Yeah.
I see.
So like they'll be having a meal and like there'll be like a little
Look on your
banner or
face.
something over there, and like if you find this banner, then it's like do this side quest, and then you get immunity that you can't be voted out.
Okay.
So then at that point, then you pull all the daggers at you,
Yes.
and then you pull out the immunity card, and then you have actually triangulated this other plan where this other person gets voted off.
Whoa,
So
that
It's
is
big
heavy.
brain thinking.
Heavy.
Big brain thinking.
So
It's
heavy.
Big
yeah.
brain.
Yeah.
Seriously, y'all have survived. It
Ah,
sounds
I
good.
love
Podcast.
it.
Let me bring it back.
I
Let me
love it.
bring
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Hey, but no,
Yeah.
thank you all, Sammy. Thank you
Yeah.
all so much for being here.
Please.
100%.
And all the best. The record is amazing. Can't wait
Yeah.
to catch y'all out on the road.
Thank you.
How about next month?
Some odd years ago, and early in the morning, a child named David Thomas Santiago Robinson was born, and his mother cried as she was holding him. For all this time, I was hoping for a girl, but he's gonna be the life of everybody's party and the center of the world. 20-some odd years go by, and down at Fountain Lake, we were all smoking candy cigarettes and trying to catch a break. Somebody shouted, "Here comes Davy boy." We all got up and had ourselves a real good time. But after a while, David had to sit back down, try to clear his troubled mind. He said if I can cast away the giants in my head, I just sit back and cast a line. And David, armed only with your sticks and stones, you can break more than just a person's bones when you're taking that long walk alone. Now Davy had a lady by the name of Baby Joan. She said, let's start our lives together, or let's start our lives alone. And David sat back in the dirt and said, I don't think I can make it through this one. I feel like a flower after 2 weeks with no rain and a long day in the sun. Listen, baby Joni, don't we make a lovely pair? I love that flirty purple sundress and your dirty yellow hair. Sometimes it braids itself together and ties me at the feet so I can't leave. Oh, sometimes you fill my chest with so many good things. I haven't got the space to breathe. And he said, David, ooh, armed only with your sticks and stones, you can break more than just a person's bones when you're taking that long walk alone. David, Goliath never fought this hard. I never seen a giant half as scarred. I never seen one half as tall as you are. The morning after Joni left, sweet David lay in bed, and for the first time in a long time he had no giants in his head. He said, I'm taller than I thought I was, more than Mama said that I would be. Yeah. Guess I must be a giant also, for these giants all do fit inside of me. Ooh, oh,
A, E, 1.